Hey, yo, I just gotta be real with y'all real quick. As we recorded this, I made a little blundery poo, and there's gonna be some parts of the audio that we lost over just what it is. So sorry about that in advance, and we just rolling with it. So if it gets kind of gaps missing, there's a couple parts. Sorry. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Classic Quest podcast. My name is Holden Stephan Roy.
I am your lady friend Bonnie.
And today we are going to be going through Method Man and Redman's Blackout album. And oh boy, for me at least, this is a treat. This is one of those quintessential to Holden's hip hop experience kind of albums in my history and such. So I'm real excited for it. Bonnie may not be quite as excited. Spoilers. But we're going to go through it.
Big spoiler.
We're going to share our honest reactions. We're going to do the thing that we do. Before we get into it, I do want to just let y'all know, if you support this stuff, you can check us out at patreon.com/behindthatsuit. Give love that way. Also make some music. You can check that out. Links will be in description on Twitch in the future. But we're doing this live on Twitch, by the way, YouTube audience. So if you want to join the love, watch the review live, and even interact with us and shit, have your comments pop up in the video, this is the way to do it. Yeah. Anyway, so just to plug that a little bit, you can check out the music over at youtube.com/behindthatsuit or whatever. Links there. They'll be on all the right places.
They're everywhere.
On that note, we do want to get started, and as we normally do, contextualizing a little bit our familiarity with these artists going into this album review, as well as kind of our expectations a little bit going into this album review. So I think it's fair to start with your lady friend Bonnie, because truth is, I'm going to talk a fuck ton on this one, and I'm going to say it's this kind of a review because how high? Anyway, okay, Bonnie, how do you feel about this one?
I've listened to them before. I've encountered Method Man and Redman. I don't even know which album or what or anything, but I definitely know that I have listened to them before, either together or separately. I don't even know. I can't even tell you that
We
much.
have done Method Man's Cheka. Mm-hmm. We did the first Redman album, What the Album.
See?
We have done several Wu-Tang joints along the way.
So, we've encountered them.
Definitely along our journey. But that would... So to suffice it to say, you've only encountered these names on our Classic Quest journey here.
Yes, just over the last few years of doing this. And this is from September 28th, 1999. So it's, I feel like we've been doing a few, millennium era type albums recently. So I think that that's kind of cool that we're kind of getting that kind of era. We're checking out that kind of music. So I think that this is on point with what we've kind of been doing recently. We didn't plan it that way, but anyways, that's it. That's my thoughts. That's how much I know of them.
Fair enough. I
just wanted to also mention that I am also not the biggest Wu-Tang fan, so that's what I wanted to mention.
That's fair. And to keep in mind, because Wu-Tang fans can be kind of harsh, it is really a matter of taste at the end of the day. Your lady friend Bonnie is clearly objective enough to see talent where talent exists. And so the commentary that she may have is her opinions.
It's my opinions.
Coming into
I know that they're good, but these are just my opinions.
Good is an understatement.
Well,
I got your back, fans. Trust. That's what I'm here for.
Legendary artists. And, that they have made legendary music. And I'm aware of that. But it's not my taste. Necessarily.
Okay.
You'll see.
So this is a little bit different for me. You may notice right over there. That is...
They can barely see. I don't think they can.
I think they can see it because I can see it there. You can see that it's clearly the Method Man Redman Blackout there. It's definitely viewable. Maybe a little hard on mobile. But Seeb Dread says your opinion counts too, okay? Big facts. Thank you, Seeb Dreads.
Thanks, Seeb.
But as you can see back there, that is actually the cutout of the fucking Method Man and Redman Blackout disco. This album is a little bit special to me compared to some of the other ones we've done.
See, you have these on CDs. I have Spice Girls and stuff. So again, see, this is where we're coming from.
So for me, it's different. When I was a kid, and it hasn't actually come up in a long time. We haven't touched these albums in ages, honestly. Mm-hmm. But when I was young, I was maybe 12 years old, maybe 13 years old. My dad had this stack of gangster rap type shit. Just rap that maybe 12-year-old me in his mind should not have gotten a hold of. I don't know why. I don't know how or when, but this album was in that list. Now, the truth of the matter is, when I first consumed it, I didn't understand it, but the Rockwilder was, it took over the world. You have to have known the Rockwilder, that one track, because it's in all sorts of movies and shit. You probably would have. Okay, it's fine. I'll leave it. The Rockwilder is amazing. That's what I'm trying to say. But what ended up happening is I moved on in life, and then the Blackout 2 album came out, and I bought that guy, and I didn't understand it at all. And I moved on, and as I listened to the project as a youth, perhaps my understanding wasn't fully there for how profound it is. I didn't really understand wordplay or bars. I didn't fully understand what it is to ride the beat, to kind of hit the pockets, to understand the just what it is to be in this sport of hip-hop. Another thing that I didn't fully understand is the landscape of careers and stuff going on. So back then I didn't fully appreciate it, but I bumped it last week because we're a little bit of a week late on this one. And I was loving it. I was just fucking feeling it. It was nice. But then I had this conversation with my homeboy Flacco Bayo, who is officially my guy in New York City to ask New York City questions to, because maybe this is a little tangential, but I hope it's a little interesting stills. Where you grew up may impact who is the legends. So we were discussing Big L. Now, in my communities growing up, older cats, all sorts of people love Big L. And he was saying that in his world, and he's a couple years older than me, they didn't really look at Big L the same. They're in the middle of New York, and their perception was that Big L's first album came through, and perhaps it didn't perform as well as it should have. Whereas we're coming back in history with the YouTubes and going, oh my gosh, listen to that music. So the perception is based off of a different historical context and framing for the success and quality of that album. Okay. Am I saying Big L is better or worse off of that? No. I'm saying that maybe where we're from has a bigger impact on what we consider to be the GOAT-like stuff.
Yeah,
that's where I'm going with it. All that to say, as we were rolling, so as I was discussing this with Mr. Flacco Bayo, he was saying how, and this is his words, and I just want to summarize it because it got me thinking a little bit different listening to this album. At the time, Method Man and Redman may have been in that conversation of being pitted up against each other as top dudes, whatever. They end up uniting, making this project, right? But prior to that, from what he said, To Cal by Method Man doesn't necessarily drop with the same level of hype and success that people would have expected. He called it a 4.5 on 5, not the 5 on 5 classic.
Okay.
And then To Cal 2000 Judgment Day failed to follow up with maybe the same level of grandeur he was hoping for. So at that, you had Method Man coming at this particular project, bringing his A-game pen. And again, this is Mr. Flacco Bayo's the way he put it, but at the same time, when you listen to a lot of these tracks, you could argue Redman kind of stands out a lot more next to Method Man on many of these tracks. And we're going to go through that, and we'll give our opinions track by track, which ones we feel or whatever as we do this. But it was a moment that he felt solidified to a lot of people in hip-hop history that Redman may have been overlooked as one of the greatest MCs. And it's even possible
that's fair.
Cats like Eminem solidified their view of Redman being one of the top MCs ever based on this. Because my opinion, guys, let's be real. I started this shit like 2017 is the first episode of Classic Quest. We're all like kind of looking back, right? So I just thought that was a fascinating point of view to be able to have that counterbalance of what it was like looking at this album as it got released. So anybody out there, anybody that is watching this after the fact, Seeb Dread, I love it, you're right here. He says Redman is more hyper on all the tracks, and that's something we're going to get into. And that isn't always a good or a bad thing. That's not the point. Mm-hmm. It's just that there's a different energy level brought in, and I think Redman, anyway, we'll get into it at the track by track because I don't want to like spoil the whole thing right now. But all that to say, everything like that was running through my head going into this review, which just had me so excited. And anyway, and then as we were discussing the album beforehand, because we did, I got a whole other fucking side conversation that was going on in my brain about what we could kind of get into. Anyway, I'm really excited about this one. The album is called Blackout, and because we do have the cover up, we must discuss the cover. You see kind of a black and whitish kind of feel. Method Man, Redman, just kind of standing there. They're doing their thing. It looks fine. It's cool. It is what it is. The cover is, I feel like their logos are very prominent, and it's all I've ever paid attention to. I have never bothered to look down before actually this cover where I see their hands up and stuff now.
Interesting.
I still don't care that much about the rest of the cover, to be completely real with you.
Yeah.
But I love the logo placement, because even looking at it now on this feed, you basically see this fucking pop-out Method Man Redman. It just pops out at you with the way the white looks. I fucking love it. You can even see it kind of vaguely over there in the small. Like, that is a well-designed fucking logo ahead of its time, in my opinion. It understood what it was trying to do, prominence, who it was, and then they're almost less, it's almost like they're less relevant than the brands that they represent. Anyway,
Interesting.
That's kind of what I took from the cover. I don't know what you may feel. Maybe you have some ideas there.
I mean, pretty similar, honestly. I mean, I thought that the, I think that their logo and their names definitely like stand out on the cover, and that's kind of good. Otherwise it's just like these, both the guys, and they're sort of like bandanaed up on their faces, and they're giving, hand signs. I couldn't really make out what was happening, so for me, like, same sort of thing. Like, for me, it's kind of like a forgettable cover, like less so like I know it stands out for you, like with like their names, but I don't know. I just found it kind of a forgettable cover.
That's completely fair. But part of it is too, I've stared at this cover for a long period of time in my life. This isn't just like a new cover to me. This is something that I have known about over almost 20, oh my gosh, almost like, let's say 20 plus, almost 20 years. Wow, yeah. I'm getting old. Yep. But yeah, it's almost 20 years of my life. Anyway, we still have all of the album to talk to, and we are going to get through it track by track, move into it, and we're going to start with a special joint. You know what I'm saying? Okay, she doesn't even want to take it. Rude. Question is, Bonnie, how do you feel about the introduction to this little project here?
Well, it's a good intro. It just, something tells me that, a lot of weed smoking will be happening on this album. You kind of get that right away. It's like smooth and like kind of like has like a funky beat, and sort of feels like you've like fallen into like this like world that's like, I don't know, that's their world, I guess. I don't know, like this crazy, goofy...
Is it really just their world?
Well, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like, but like you're on like this journey with them. Like it's like you're with them. I don't know. It just sounds interesting. It definitely, and it starts off sort of like with like a Cheech and Chong sort of skit. So I like that, like that's sort of playing into like the whole weed smoking, thing. And then Redman drives away to get like to the audience that's like waiting for them. So it's sort of like, I don't know, like they're just high and hanging out, and they're like, oh shit, yeah, we got a show to start, like kind of thing going on. So I like it. I thought it was very fun. It was nice. I give this one a 4.5 on 5. What do you think?
First of all, I think production is a huge part of this project, and I think that there was a lot of effort put into creating the right spacey energy, because this is the beginning of a problem I had with the entire album. I love the music and the way that these guys sound on top of the music almost more than I give a fuck about anything they're saying. So yes, when my brain focuses again and I start paying attention to what they're saying, it's actually rewarding. But I think that they captured and tapped into this modern vibe shit in a way that is way ahead of its time. Because, like, think about it. Do you want to get high? Like, the way he sings it, the way he accentuates it, the way it rides over. You may as well lay some auto-tune on it and call it a melodic vibe today, honestly, for the level of effect and ease of listening I find that I have on it, for the accessibility it gives me. Plus, that's some Cheech and Chong, right? Like, he's kind of going back to Up and Smoke, which is a pretty funny thing, and I think it's cool that they're tapped into the cultural references of the stoner culture at the time, but it's almost like saying, this is who this album is for. I don't give a fuck if you don't like it. It's like almost using these cues to communicate to their people what's up. I also like when he's like, I've got a joint I've been saving here for a special occasion, right? Because you got the double entendre of the idea of a joint being a musical track and the idea of a joint being marijuana. So it's just fucking fun. I really enjoy it. I also like the fact that even Method Man comes in with that To the East, Driver to the East. I didn't know that, but it's actually a reference to the X-Clan's first album, To the East Backwards, right? So the fact that in the first track, not only are they coming through and creating this airy atmospheric feel, they're also including like kind of callbacks to other things and kind of showing and paying homage to the influences and whatnot. I just really enjoyed it. Also, by the way, this is protected by the red, and instead of being the more African colors of the red, black, and green, it's the red, the track, and Cheka with the key. And that I thought was cool, right? Because I believe it's referencing the track as in the music, the red, Redman, and Cheka as in, the tracks connect to each other in the sense that, like, the way one track ends, the very first split second is like the last second of the last track kind of thing, right? So it's connected in that regard. But yo, think about it from the other point of view. You have Redman busting through with the keys and just yo, like they were just too fucking stoned, and at the very last minute the beat had to drop, like they were making everybody fucking hold up and shit. I thought that was really, really amazing. Then you get into the fucking lyrics. Now, I'm gonna be real with y'all. This shit is some bars for days type shit. It's grandiosity. It's just fucking fun and flavorful. But I feel like they stay true to themselves. They really just come through with this style and flair. So I'm gonna be real. If you're not into bars, so if your perception of dope content is concise storytelling and very clear thematic elements and things like that, you're gonna probably be like, yo, this is the same thing in every song. But it's not. It's really not. I see it as Redman and Method Man on every single fucking track are laying down their best efforts to like outperform each other with the illest fucking flows, the illest fucking words, the illest whatever, right? But at the same time, portraying their styles, their brands, like, yo, it's Funk Talk, where the weed at, bitch. That's how he starts it. That's where it's like, yo, that's what it is. That's where my brain's at. I speak backwards down a one way from cops. See that shit? Which just rhymes perfectly with we that bitch, you know. Believe that shit is the next rhyme. So the way he just couples in these rhyme schemes, he just says it perfect.
Yeah, and that definitely happens like throughout the album.
Slaughter, straight to the camcorder. I'm too hot for TV. And then I'm like, okay. I'm just like feeling it. Like so another cool thing is he goes, I'm too hot for TV there. Then later on, they're like, I'm too hot for TV for Sheezy. So like they do that on the Rockwilder. That's called some album moves. It's when you know your shit's meant to be a bigger experience that's listened to. So you tie these things into each other. So the thing is his delivery is fucking fire and alive and fucking dynamic. And I was like, holy shit. I'm not going to do it where I go through all the bars. Y'all basically understand what it is. Thanks, Space, for the hosting. Y'all get the point. If you guys want to see like a real lyric breakdown, give us a million gajillion likes, give us the comments and follows, and we'll go through every fucking bar of this album. If that's really what you want to see. The analytics say you kind of want more of the top level perception because y'all know the bars already. But yo, it's ridiculous. Then you get this chorus where it's like, get up, stand up, and you're just like, how are you not feeling this? How are you not wanting to jump around and fucking vibe to it? Stick up. Like, yo, I can't even do it. It's just so fucking fire. They bounce off of each other. And then Method Man sounds flat as fuck. I want to give it to Method Man on this one because, yo, he's smooth and he's whatever. But this may be one of the weakest performance Method Man delivers on the album, is unfortunately my feelings on this one. And it's not a bad performance. I want to make this clear for other people out there. When I say a weak Method Man performance, it means we're talking about like all the other performances in Method Man, and then there's Redman, right? We're talking about like up here. Right. So don't be coming at me like you said Method Man can't. No, I did not fucking say that. I said on this very fucking project, this may be one of my least favorite Method Man performances because he's really fucking nonchalant about it. But we just got like Redman blowing the roof off, and then like Method Man's a little too cool. But on the next track, as an example, Method Man's hitting it exactly like where it should be. So it's like the rest of the album, I feel like Method Man puts more energy in, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Okay. Either way, it's cool. The bars are fine. It's all right. Like, it's not like any of this is blowing my fucking mind. It's more like as I listen to it, it's just kind of entertaining, right? And now y'all can take what you want from it. It's totally fine. I'm listening to Method Man here for the way he rhymes it, to the way his flow, the way I feel like his voice is like a melody on it. But I'm not gonna lie, like, oh, you forcing my hand to rock your cradle often. I'm too hot scorching, but stone cold like Steve Austin. Nice. If you smell what Cheka cooking, I'm like, that's cool.
Like, that just brings me back to like grade 6 or whatever.
I'm not necessarily like caring. It just sounds fresh. It's just fresh. All of it just is like, those are lines. They all sound good when you say them. And that's more how I feel about a lot of this project than actually, because let's be real, I'm bad at cultural fucking expressions. So when it goes really heavy into cultural expressions and puns, sometimes I kind of just vibe. I just stop listening to what they're fucking saying. But then I just hear lines here and there, and it makes me feel like I should re-listen to this song because in 100 times I'm gonna, you know, still find a little nugget here or there that I never really cared about. So I think it's worth pointing out that They are both excelling, and I say excelling because it's enjoyable. Everything that Method Man does is fucking enjoyable on this project. I'm just saying I'm not getting profound lyricism. I'm getting accessible, enjoyable shit.
You can pretty much say that for like every song on this album.
And in a sense, this album is like a precursor to mumble rap. I'm gonna say that fucking flat out.
Okay.
A lot of what makes this album dope to me is the easy listening to it, the vibing to it. None of these guys, they're also very fun. It is an extremely fun album, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just dope. Like, Method Man's kind of serious here, but in the same time, the whole vibe of it is, like, fun.
Yeah.
I could dance to this shit. You know, I could move to this shit. So, I'm not as worried about the lyrics. They're just rewarding when I catch shit that's dope. Like, don't make me pull a Tyson by the ear. It's rewarding to hear that bar. Mm-hmm. It's just rewarding. Is it super insightful? No. It's just rewarding, you know? Like, sometimes it just is about a good vibe. And that's the bigger conversation happening in my Facebook worlds and shit right now. Melodies and hardcore lyrics and speed. And sometimes it's just about a vibe. I could tell you something. I could put this album on A to Z at a fucking party, smoke joints, and have a good time, even if I don't listen to a single bar. I can't say that about Kendrick. I gotta, stop and listen to Kendrick. There's
I also too, I think that there's a difference. Like, if we're talking about Kendrick, like, I want to hear what he's saying. Like, he is going to say something that's going to, like, impact me. It's going to make a difference. It's going to tell me a story or something, or motivate me, whatever Kendrick does. But, like, this is just like, you're high and maybe you're missing some of what he's saying, and that's okay, because he's just like, whatever, just chill, enjoy yourself, blah,
but
blah,
if we
blah.
go back to the technical side of it,
if you catch some of his lines, that's okay.
They're so in the pocket. Like, perfectly in the pocket. Like, every fucking bar is delivered to the same level of precision that creates this easy to listen to, accessible float. It's just like, oh, they're dancing on the beat. They're just making it beautiful. So I don't want anybody listening to this to be like, oh, Holden's this in the bar. That's not what it is. I'm saying they're so good at everything else that the bars are almost secondary because the songwriting ability is so exceptional to me. Like, I'm blown away. This was I kept rewinding it. I kept replaying tracks. I'm just like, yo, what the fuck did I just listen? And we're on the first track, and this might be one of my least favorite ones on the project. 4.5 on 5 for real. It's a very good song. I'm giving it to Red on my Red verse, man. I felt him a little bit more on it. Mm-hmm. That's okay. Welcome, everyone, because, there's apparently 9 people watching, to meet Casa.
Yeah.
So I just want to say right off the jump for this one, before I hand it over to Bonnie, that I feel like Method Man employs his use of melody a lot more on this track, and that in his flow brings it to that next level that makes it sound blessed as fuck next to Redman, whose level of dynamicism just kind of makes him kind of feel alive. Because Method Man does have that sing-songy kind of nursery rhyme melody angle to his flow, which is next level. And it wasn't to me in the last one. It is totally present in this track, which just had me go to the next level with it. But how do you feel about this one?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has like a great beat. It definitely is like very like 1999, like of the era. Like, it reminds me of that, but like that's not a bad thing. It's fun. It's good energy. When they're in the house, they're going to be the best and destroy you. Like, if you try to like to battle them or whatever, and they're getting paid to do this. So, they're just that good. And, they're not just like some guy who's being like, yeah, I'm a rapper. Like, these guys are really getting paid and doing that. I don't know. They can't be controlled. That's pretty much it. I like this one. I don't have too much more to say on it. Good energy. Another kind of bouncy, fun one. So I gave this a 4.3 on 5.
Fair enough. I definitely like it. I want to point out that I got to give big respect to Redman for how he starts this shit. So, what you crazy since a bucktooth baby? Doc is like straight, fuck you, pay me, like Jay-Z. Which is cool because he's alluding to the source of a Jay-Z reference. But the fact is, he's giving Jay-Z the credit for being the level of inspiration to that idea that he's comparing himself to, which in my opinion is just showing fucking love. And I like the fact that that is something you're gonna find all over this album, is references to classic hip-hop, like classic hip-hop to them, and all sorts of love is being given. What haterisms happen on this album?
Kung fu, like all of that kind of like stuff as well. Like it's all kind of touched on.
So as we go through the album, I realized, they're not like hating on anyone. They're not like mad at anyone. They're just loving life and just fucking being the best at what they do. And I think that's a really cool touch that they bring to the energy in the room kind of thing, which makes this album a little bit more timeless and a little bit more like, I just could fucking vibe to this any day of the week because, again, this is fun. The energy is just there. I mean, you're going to hear me say that a lot on this review because the truth of the matter is that is what sells it. I don't know. As far as the bars go, it's all right. Again, there's not a whole lot that's going to pop out at me. I just fucking enjoy the way that they spit it. I just fucking enjoy the way that they do it. But when it comes down to Method Man, I feel like it's a little bit stronger on this one. So every time I turn around somebody in my business, time for you to testify, kind of get a witness, acting like bitches, dirty dick, look suspicious, ain't physically fit for the fitness. So what's cool about that is on top of the fact that, like, let's be real, they're a little generic as far as the bars goes. Like, I've heard that shit a whole bunch, but the fact is he kind of ties it up with like people's level of fitness and being ready and preparedness, so he kind of tucks in this kind of good ideal of what he's looking for, you know, like this is actually an important thing. You can spot who's ready and prepared is kind of what I took from it. But otherwise, it's, again, like, I don't know what to say about his bars otherwise. They're just good to listen to. They're just fun, and when you catch something that tickles your fancy, it's an enjoyable experience again. So I guess on that front, you're right. There's a degree of, maybe it's hard for me to get into everything at a lyrical level, but that's not the point. The point of this project is the great beat, the great fucking way they write it. Eric Sermon does a wonderful job again on the production of this project. I don't know. It just was proper. I just fucking like it. I like the fucking way that you get this like sense of like throwbacks in the kind of call and response feel of the chorus. We have one of them saying one line, the next one doing it. Yeah. But even within that, right, it's your stopper, meth to Callum Funk Doctor, kind of brings you back to that like showstopper early 80s kind of fucking fun parts of hip hop. Almost like they understood the roots of hip hop, had a lot more fun shit going into it than a lot of the modern people who think that 1997 is the roots of hip hop. So I thought that was fucking interesting.
And I also wanted to mention, like for anybody who has stuck around and has watched a lot of these, like I enjoy when people sound like they're having a good time together. And these guys sound like they're having a good time together. Like they sound like they're buds and just hanging out and chilling and doing what they do. Like they look scary, kind of, right? Like they kind of come off like, mean mugging when, and they've got like the, the bandana, like, oh, maybe, is he in a gang? Like, is he trouble? Oh, I don't know. What's he like? I don't know, and then like these kind of guys are just like, ladies getting high, blah, blah, blah. And like, that's it. And like, they're just goofing around and like, they're not really violent. They just kind of chill and
it's just that while you're saying that, I'm going back to like, I don't know, being a youngin' and all of the movies and shit of that era.
Yeah, like they're just goofballs.
Wasn't like the How High movie dropping around now? Like at the same time as all of that's going on, you have them in this movie as two college age stoners kind of bopping around, fucking being stoners and really getting that Dave Chappelle stoner kind of vibe money going on, right?
Right.
So I totally really appreciated like that perception going into it, to a point where I guess I never even noticed how gritty and hard they looked on the cover until like I paid attention now, because they really do look like that.
Yeah, like you're kind of like expecting like, kind of like gangster rap or whatever, and then you're just kind of getting like these goofy guys chilling, having a good time.
I don't know, and I think that's honestly kind of cool that they can fuck with your expectations like that. But I guess for me, I was just expecting stoner shit like the whole way through, goofery.
Yeah.
But not in like a comically bad way, but just these guys have a sense of humor, but they'll also knock you out if you happen to fuck with them, is what I get from them. Because I do believe both these men could definitely harm my person if I were to, be annoying or whatever around them. But at the same time, if I just showed up and I'm like, yo, check it out, want to chill?
Yeah.
They want to get high too, so I get it. We like relate on that level and shit. Anyway, Did we give grades on this one? I
Sure,
don't think
I
I did. I gave this a fucking 5 on 5. And
Wow.
well, it's amazing. I could listen to this all day, and that's part of why my grades are so high. Like, you don't understand how many times I've listened to songs on this album.
But you also have like that nostalgic kind of feeling going into it, where
but it's
for
also,
me, like I'm just new to it, you know.
But why that's like an asset here is because I've listened to these songs so many times, and I'm still like, nah, I could just throw this on again and just listen to it. And I think that it's not about, sometimes when it's just about the bars, I'm gonna digest the message and then I gotta be in a mood for that shit. Whereas I think the excellence in the vibe that they're creating here is it brings me to a mood that I want to be on, especially in this 2020 environment and shit. You know, it's not like this is a good escape all this time later. The vibe that they're creating, it's like, it's fun, but
Right.
it's still really talented and in line with like the beginnings of hip hop and shit. I don't know. I'm really digging it. So I gave it to Red over Meth. Sorry, guys. Y.O.U. You. Bonnie, you go first. You go first on this one.
All right, so Method Man starts us off on this one, and he is basically describing a lady, and like what they do sexually to each other. You know, so that's kind of what's going on there. And then Redman comes in, and he's kind of talking about, you know, again, same sort of thing we've talked about here, kind of like how, you know, they're going to destroy you, and how he's got some great rhymes, and he's going to spit at you, and blah, 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 that kind of thing. And just like the different like roles that they play, and like how they do it and everything, and like really like the flow, and like their rhymes are nice on both of them. And like this was like here, and I feel like I mentioned it when I last listened to like Method Man. I definitely caught it, I'm sure, but like by now I'm just like, does he have a bit of a lisp? Like maybe I had just forgot that he does, or
You found that for real?
yeah, he like on some of his songs he sounds kind of lispy, and he definitely, I'm gonna assume that he has a lisp, and that's fine. I just caught it. That's it. And I don't know, just kind of like a fun song, I guess. And then there's at the end there's like that kind of man peeing, so there's a different sound versus a woman peeing versus a girl peeing, and it kind of reminded me, you know, throwback from like Snoop Dogg era, like that kind of, you know, thing. So anyways, it's a fun beat with good rhymes. I gave this a 4.35 on 5.
I don't know. This one just is like a step up of everything we've heard, in my opinion. I hear this shit, and I'm basically like, that beat, it just makes you want to move. It just makes you want to like turn up, right? It just taps into that ethereal turn up energy. And then the way Method Man hits that flow. This one I had to not just give it to Redman as far as it goes. I had to split the win on this one for reals. So for me, Method Man owns this type of kind of flow, and he's just bouncing, and he just sounds so airy, and he sounds so confident, and with the subject matter being a little more about the ladies and shit, he just felt so smooth and suave. And like, I don't know, currently there's this fucking dude on YouTube that has like the deepest voice ever, and all the girls hear it and they swoon for him and shit, and he made like a fucking song on TikTok about like hate fucking chicks, and like, it blew the fuck up. Why? Because people like that deep voice kind of shit. Like, I don't know, they just are into it. So the way Method Man hits that smooth shit, I'm like, I get it. And this type of vibe. But then I'm like, at the same time, his delivery doesn't necessarily have the same level of life that just to put out Liddy Bros is up in here and said Riz is the only Wu-Tang member with a
Well, hold
list.
on, I'm looking up right this moment to see if he has a lisp, and there seems to be debate on this, but he is actually, it's like, so this is the search thing, and people have it, and he's in like a list of like people. Who's the best rapper with a lisp? Method Man, Eric Sermon, or G-Rap? Like, so I guess like this is a thing, but I think it's maybe just like
the internet said it's a thing.
I don't know.
But it gives it does make your point. The fact is, you're not the only human who came to this connection.
There's a few songs where you kind of hear his like I can't even describe what it is that he does, but he does it.
But then, like, anyway, I really just liked it. I like the way he goes, pushing your panic button when I'm stuck in all of a sudden baby conducted, and then that BBC, ooh girl, you nasty. Like, I just really fucking like that part. I don't know, it just felt right. Again, like, this is just vibing. Like, I would throw this on when I want to feel like I'm gonna go get laid. That's the
Right.
vibe it's giving me right now,
Okay.
and it's hitting it proper. Now, I just, for Redman, love the energy and stuff, but I feel like he struggled more to sound smooth on this one than on the slower flows he was doing. And I noticed that next to, because
Okay.
Method Man on this one, it's just like clean and pristine to me. On that Redman, it's very clear, but like I felt like it wasn't as smooth as maybe the other ones that I heard on this project. On the other hand, I just fucking like the way Redman says everything on it. It just sounds fucking fire for me to listen to. It's super enjoyable. Again, I'm in the same part where the bars like, yo, I get it on popping, docking, locking your doors, glocking my drawers, socking your mouth with a torn stocking wrapped around a noggin. It's cool to listen to. I don't know what the fuck I can say about that would bring anything to it. It's just fucking good to listen to, and it has that same effect that I've been getting on the whole project where, yo, at the end of the day, the lyrics are good in terms of entertaining me. And I think I can't go beyond that. This is fucking entertaining as shit. But it's more the way they technically do it. The way they drop that chorus. The way it gives you that fucking call and response. You can picture almost every one of these tracks at the fucking stadium level almost, fucking with the crowd interactions. Maybe not the stadium, because I don't know. I don't see a lot of stadiums doing hip-hop, right? At least the bigger, smaller end of crowd level, fucking a couple thousand people just bobbing to it, low-end level. Fucking, it would just be great at all crowd sizes. And I think that's really fucking cool. So it's not just the fact that they're good rappers. It's the fact that they make it so easy to listen to them regardless of the fact of what they're saying. And I think the fact that they plug it with dope-ass entertaining like content is fucking fun. So again, I'm left with another 5 on 5 on this track. I don't know what else I could say about it. It's just fucking great. I don't know. The last part though, where they're going to take a pee, the real truth of the matter is I had to pee real bad last night when I was listening to it. It made me have to go to the washroom. So just be advised, folks. If your bladder is full, this song's gonna get you. And if you're an old man like me, you're gonna have to go to the bathroom. Is all I'm trying to say. Is what this song does. I didn't even check the music videos one time. It is what it is. I'm not that big into music videos. Sorry. I don't remember them from back in the day. That told me I was like, whatever. I kind of remember the Rockwilder one. Either way, we're gonna move on with this project because I believe we've given grades. I just want to be courteous.
Yeah.
4 seasons, everyone.
Not the landscaping company.
So, y'all, everyone, straight up, this is what happened. Last night, we're bumping the album, and Bonnie, with all the fucking sincerity in the world, hits me up at
And
this
I had
part.
already listened to this album.
Is that Ja Rule? He kind of sounds like Ja Rule. And I'm like,
I just wasn't
you know,
paying
like,
attention to
kind
what
of
he
like
was
this
playing.
is some Ja Rule clone that's there. I kind of articulated it bad, but she was implying. And then I'm like, yo, it's just Ja Rule. Oh, Ja Rule. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to talk any shade on Ja Rule. I don't know enough about him.
He's very distinct, that's for sure.
But like, I just remember in high school that everybody goofed on him because he
Him and
threw the
Ashanti.
murder into like everything to a point of excess, and it meant nothing to anybody in my little 13-year-old classes and shit. So everyone just kind of spent all their time making fun of that.
I remember
But
my boyfriend when he was like, well, I was 14, I guess, and my boyfriend thought he was going to be a rapper. Different guy. And
thought.
he tried. I don't know. He tried to be a rapper. And he had like, oh, I can't even remember, like Blaze, with Johnny Blaze. Like he had like that whole like ensemble of Johnny Blaze, and he thought he was Ja Rule. He thought he was so cool. He wasn't. But anyways, so I mean, yeah, that it just reminds me of like being like 13, 14. I don't know. Just reminds me of a younger age when I hear Ja Rule.
And what do you think of the song?
I mean, really, it's another nice beat. It's, you know, again, same sort of thing, you know, that they're going to destroy you in rap battles and, like, we'll take the prize money and we'll win. And we've got LL Cool J on this one, and he sounds kind of, like, tough. Like, he sounds surprisingly tough. And, yeah, like I said, you know, Ja Rule, he's there, and he's kind of talking about, you know, tough gangsters and, like, and I find that these songs are good, but I find myself kind of lacking anything really much to say about them because they're all sort of like the same with like lots of nice bars.
Fair enough.
So I give this a 4.4 on 5.
First of all, we got an excellent bar I can comment on from Mr. Redman. He starts us off. It's pretty great. But I really liked when he's like, I'm a Dolo, you a Polo. I'm a Uptown shopper, you a Soho. And I thought that was fascinating, right? Because especially in this day and age when it comes down to like the fashion choices of people, it's almost like Redman is like, yo, I'm downplaying wealth and shit. I'm just kind of shopping a little thrifty, trying to stay a little anonymous, a little bit of hidden shit. And I was like, that's fucking cool. And I like it when people drop that kind of mentality in, because that's personally my vibe. Like, look, I'm all into opulence and wealth a little bit more now that I have a little bit more stacks up in my life. I'm not going to lie. I foresee myself flossing in ways a younger me would be kind of ashamed of. But I don't know. I liked it. I liked the way he presented himself, true to himself with it. Then LL Cool J comes on. And, I mean, I'm not, like, as well versed on LL Cool J as I should be. But that's a hard fucking verse, right? Like, it's just fucking power. Like, he just fucking, like, comes in.
Like, I'm like, what?
Like,
are you
when
still
he
wearing
goes,
your Kangol? Like, what's going on?
I knew my longevity confuse ya. Big paper game. Come on, run into these flames. Recognize the power of the Royal King James, right? And that almost has, like, this extra biblical fucking proportions, because you picture the King James version of the Bible with that,
right,
and the power of his shit. And I feel like, yo... And then you think about it, like, I mean, he's fucking got that lasting power. He really is that shit. And at that point in his career, I mean, he's in, his second decade and shit. Yeah, it's just totally fire. It's just like, but I also felt like, yo, he just went on. Like, he's like, yo, I'm the fucking legend here. I'm taking twice as long as everybody else. And I thought it was really good, though, because, I mean, you listen to it, and it's a little bit kind of, like, strong. But at what point does it get kind of bad? It doesn't. It just fucking gets whatever. Then I like how he brings up Giuliani. Like, you know, again, adding in a little bit of politically
like
in tune bars here and there.
Like, yeah, what's going on?
Just to kind of show you should be aware of it. And maybe even if you're not knowing it, you're going to Google who he is. I mean, I'm pretty sure the whole world's aware of who he is now. He's kind of a...
I mean, not the whole world.
I mean, after Borat, I think even the people who wouldn't have cared now. Anyway, that guy's so fucking weird. Like, when you look at it from a... Like, I don't know. I'm not from New York, so what the fuck do I know?
I mean, he started off good, and then he just kind of... I don't know, got weird.
Like, I just remember how, like, in 2002, everybody fucking praised him, back up where I'm from, and, like, everybody, like, I don't know, now it's, you know, Borat just came out, so it's just fucking, it's a weird name, it's just a weird name. Anyway, I like the way that fucking LL ends his verse with the get loose Method Man shit, kind of bigging up Method Man, hyping him up, engaging him, they get a little back and forth, and again, as I close my eyes and listen to this song, in COVID times, wishing I would be allowed out of my apartment because, yo, they cancel Christmas up in Quebec. Basically, It's like, yo, I almost picture like I'm at the show, okay? I'm desperate enough that I can close my eyes and I'm at the fucking show, all right? That's how it really felt listening to this album. So it's interesting how the lack of, like, real-life engagement I have going on may have actually added to this because, again, it's just such a fun fucking tune. And, again, these guys just sound great together. Method Man does his things. I don't have much to comment on it. I like the Four Corners, Four Seasons. You know, it's dope. It's so, like, in your face what it is. I don't have a lot to comment on it. It just, like, I like the, like, sing a song of sixpence full of pocket full of chits, kind of tying into that, like, nursery rhyme-esque fun shit that I think makes the little hooks in Method Man's flow. Like, yo, if you're tapping into some shit that's from my childhood, it hooks. It's just what it is. It's fucking well delivered. I really enjoy it. I also like the too many rappers be on John Gotti's dick line, because what's fascinating about John Gotti is listening to what his hitmen have to say about him in 2019 and shit on channels like Valuetainment. Yo, that, like, old man mafia world is so fucking fat. I don't, like, know a lot about it, but I enjoy watching the ex-hitmen of these guys out of jail telling all for big stacks on the podcast circuit. It's just so interesting to me and my gossip desires and shit. Then Ja Rule just comes in and just, like, it's like everyone else was doing a song and Ja Rule does his own thing.
Yep.
And I like it. It's pretty good. I enjoyed listening to it. I don't know if I agree that it's, like, totally, like, in line with everybody else. But I also don't think anybody's in line with anybody else.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. It's the 4 wins, the 4 seasons. That's kind of the point. Everybody's bringing their own shit to this one.
Yep.
And then I'm like, yo, it just works. I can't explain it. It just fucking works.
Yeah.
So I really, really enjoyed it. I don't know what else I can say. I'm like fucking loving this album so far. I'm giving this one another fucking, I'm going to give it a 4.5. That's just kind of what it is. Oh, before we move on, I actually wrote a note.
Yeah.
The way Ja Rule goes Murder Inc. kind of sounds like he goes Murder Inc. is the click, like Murdering is the click. Like,
yep.
I feel like the way he delivered it could have come off both ways, and that was really well done. Yep. I just wanted to give him props on that. It popped out at me. On that note, it ends and it flows into Serial Killer.
Yummy.
Funny, we start off this review having a whole conversation about Mr. Flacco Bayo, who is of the Liddy Bros, you know what I'm saying? Kind of discussing a bunch of history, and then boom, he pops up in this very fucking video, adding in valuable context along the way. So there's the 2 crew tracks, you know, and you have Method Man, what has Rizzo's the main producer for most of his shit. Then you got fucking what's his name? Fuck, Redman. Yo, I smoked a bunch of weed on this one. Who has, you know, Eric Sermon there on his end of things, you know, has been producing for a lot of this shit. So for the 2 crew tracks, you have each dude's producer come through and do the thing. So for this one, you get these dudes. And if you think about the features on the other one with the RZA, it's like Streetlife and fucking Ghostface. So it brought the Wu side. This was more Redman's side that came through of it. Yo, that's some actually fucking cool shit, yo. That's all I'm trying to say. Thank you so much, Mr. Flacco Bayo of the Liddy Bros, for your fucking dope contributions to this review. This is why it's fun with the comments, is all I'm trying to say. What do you think about Serial Killer, your lady friend Bonnie?
I don't know. I mean, there is some like nice descriptions of like killing and like sneakiness, and it kind of has like the cool flow going on with it, and like the ding 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 ding, like it makes it sound like it's like creeping, you know, like someone's like creeping ding ding, like it sounds like
Right.
their steps almost, you know. I like the reference to the night before Christmas like story, and it's like, I don't know, it's almost Christmas, I guess, and I, you know, it's kind of cool that it's like referenced, like it's random. I don't know. I find that like there's like not a lot of like variation again. Like still, I'm kind of like feeling that, but it's good. But I just found like that like the, I don't know, like it didn't sound like necessarily special on like the album, but like it still fits with the album, like if that makes sense. So I don't know, I thought it like the, I don't know, like the murder kill, like I don't know, like that's kind of catchy. I thought that was fun. Yeah, so I get it's a 4.3 on 5.
All right, so I had this big moment when I listened to this track, and this may be goofy to some people out there, but it is what it is. It's a younger Holden. It's like 2013 or whatever, and I discovered D Antwoord, and it fucks me up. And
nice.
In their song Fatty Boom Boom, they got that murder, kill, and I know where the fuck it came from. And then I heard this, and I'm like, oh, it's from this. They were like doing that, and they did a lot of references to different classical hip hop tracks throughout their shtick. I just felt they did that a lot. Since I started doing this channel, I've had a lot of moments of, oh, that's where that rapper I listen to now got that thing from.
Right.
And this was just another one in that moment, and I really fucking like it. I like the way it's just so catchy, right? Like the way he does it. It's just so sing-songy. It just gets stuck in your head. It's such a perfect fucking hook. And that's what really this album is, from the beat production, that doon, 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 doon. And this one's by RZA. It's beautiful. It just has a fucking hook in it, and it's darker. RZA's darker than, I guess, Eric Sermon.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't notice RZA took over production for any of the tracks along the way. I'm not even gonna lie. Had Liddy Bros not pointed that out, I might have missed that, because good thing Genius has some production credits. But end of the day, the tune is fire. It's got a creepier kind of vibe to it. But in the same way, it's still airy and fun. You're not like sitting there like they're really trying to go too deep into the horror. It's just kind of on that goofy shit, I feel like. I'll come like the living dead, straight from the dirt, back to avenge his own death on this earth. Ever hear of Jason, then you know my work. Down to the basement, the dog get it first. Like, that's not like overly hard. It's pretty like top level. Like, I heard Isham. This is all right. This is just kind of like... This is like teenage horror movie stuff. It's like, what's that one you made me watch that I didn't like? That horror movie, the
Which,
teenage one.
we watched
Scream.
Scream, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't. It was good.
That's
This
like
is
the
like
Halloween,
Scream, right? Like this is the level of seriousness I'm getting out of it, right? And it's fun. Pissing on the car seats, flattening the wheel, like you know what I mean? Like it's fucking
Like, it's
fun
not really
almost.
scary, but
And I think that's what is the charm of it. Like it is kind of hard if you think about what they're saying. Like they're literally going on about murdering you and killing you and stuff. But the way that they're doing it is so fucking fun that I want to listen to it, right? Even cutting in the Eyewitness News Channel 7, there's a horrific scene. It's like, yeah, but I want to hear more. And then I keep listening to it. And I fucking love the accessibility in this project. It's almost like I think a lot of us could do from coming back and just listening to how easy it is to hear this album versus how hard some other people's shit may be to actually just consume in terms of like, what I mean by that, I mean like play it 7 times in a row and tell me you still feel that shit. If you can listen to some shit 7 times in a row and still want to play that shit, it has a level of enjoyability to it is what I'm trying to say.
yeah. And I think probably that's true. I think if you just listen to it like on repeat, that you probably would enjoy it more, especially with like the murder, kill part. I think that part is like stands out for sure.
Apparently Eminem also uses it on a hook. I can't even remember what song it is, but it's like so fucking sticky. And I get it. And Eminem loves Redman, so that makes mad perfect sense. Anyway, fuck knocking, kick the door, evict the floor, yell at it's a stick up, hit the floor. For me, Redman, it's like that kind of shit. The way he makes stuff rhyme. I don't know. I just enjoy the way he puts words together in that regard. If you enjoy that kind of thing, you hear the instrument nature of his voice, and it's fucking fire to listen to. If you don't like it, I can't convince you that like him saying "you fish cake, stay lipping off, did your mama name you?" or Mrs. Pot, like. You either like the fact that he says shit or you don't like the fact that, and I think he's delightful. I don't actually know what the fuck those bars are, but my point is even without knowing what that means, hearing him say it, the way he delivers it with the level of energy he brings to, I used to be kind of like, I think this kind of way about this kind of thing when I did these reviews. Y'all clicking the fuck off unless I have this level of passion and energy in the voice. And that's the facts of this shit. So the fact is, I think Redman even reminds me that you have to be animated when you're doing your shit. And that's so fucking cool with it. Not to say that it's fake. It's like it's okay to be enthusiastic.
Yeah. And
that's what I like a lot. Anyway, it's just enjoyable. Like Tybo, Five Flows, Lizard, Centipede, Snake. I'm a killer. I don't know. It's just fucking fun. It's just fun. What else can I say about this track? And it's weird because it's so like hard. It's so like scary. But it's fun. I don't know. It leads me to the kind of mix like that. End of the day, rather than going through all the fucking lines of the rest of the song, y'all get the point. I think it's brilliant. I think is to argue they have managed to make every track its own unique experience as we go through it, right? And I just want to take away from the idea that these all just sound the same. Nah, there is a similarities because it's a fucking album with a degree of conceptual sonic experience. But like, listen, we move past some fun and now we're getting a little more serious, whatever.
Yep.
And then, I don't know. Okay, I gave it a 4.5. All right.
Yep.
And then we explode into one of the greatest songs of all fucking time. Let us listen to this, The Rockwilder. I didn't even think about this till just now. I'm sitting there, and the first thing that you gotta pay attention to is this song is huge. When I say huge, I mean
Trump's hands huge.
I don't know what the fuck that means. But like the fact is, almost everyone I know loves this song. I mean, old people love this song. I mean, young people love this song. I mean, who doesn't love this fucking song? But let's think about this song at a marketing fucking front, right? As a precursor to modern day singles, attention spans and shit, and all of that. Of this entire album, I can assure you, The Rockwilder made it to every playlist. It can be squeezed onto many CDs. Think about it from like an 80-minute capacity. You only had that much time on it. You're making your homemade playlist. You have 3 minutes left. Most tracks aren't going to fit. The Rockwilder's going to fit. And I didn't even realize it is 2 minutes and 16 seconds. It is basically fucking shorter than Old Town Road. Okay? Well, the remix version, not the original. But you look at this trend of 2-minute songs popping and people loop them. And let's say you love it. you can just loop that again because of all the shit I've been saying about how easy they are to listen to and flows and this, that. The production on this one is pristine to a level that is above and beyond, in my opinion, the rest of this album in terms of pop listenability. And it's not necessarily the beat per se, it is partly, but it's also the entire package of the production is in this more polished, pop-friendly way than almost everything else on this project. Not to say that the rest of the project wasn't it, but it's almost like everybody knew this one was really worth spending an extra couple of dollars on terms of making it, is at least what I felt about it.
Yeah. Especially like those, like the first, 30 seconds of the song, like...
Yo, and Liddy Bros just brought up a good point because, it's produced by Rockwilder.
Yeah.
And it's called The Rockwilder.
Yep.
So from a marketing front, they're giving big love to the producer off the jump. And let's be real, to this day, giving love to the producer is still not as cool as it maybe should be.
Yep.
But all I'm saying is from a marketability, even regardless of song quality, there are so many things about this that's fucking dope. Everyone could learn this song. I don't think people understand how much people like to sing along to shit, right? And this song has many sing-alongable parts, right? So here's an example. Even if you can't rap or whatever, you could jump in and just do fuck your lifestyle. Even if you want to be cool because you're with your boy's able to spit it, you have your part on that first verse where you can jump in. And then there's the part at the end where they both do the part where they're fucking going back to, what is it, the Cypress Hill track, where that's what they're citing there, the sipping on the 40 sawed off shotgun. That's that Cypress Hill one. I think it's track 2 or 3 off the first album. Anyway, they fucking do a direct grip on that and make it fucking fire in their own style. And then the thing is you can't maybe rap, but everybody can go sawed off shotgun, hand on a pump, sipping on a 40, smoking on a blunt, bust my gun, red and meth didn't jump. Everybody knows that part, right? The whole fucking world knows that shit.
I mean, I don't, but yeah,
you don't count in this conversation.
I will.
You don't count in this conversation because you just didn't want to learn it. Okay, you're just like no. This is amazing, fucking beautiful shit happening here right now. Is what I'm saying. Still, I think that it is one of the most marketably every fucking lyric is basically a hook worth hearing. Is it again insightful, whatever? No, it's just fucking stupid fun to listen to.
Yeah. And
you can throw this on basically next to modern shit and it'll probably work on most playlists. You could throw this on classic shit and it'll work. Yep. It's going to sound real good next to Party Up. I mean, what can I say? The Rockwilder, Party Up, you put those two in a row, dog, I'm wedding dancing. That's what I'm trying to say right now. I digress. The Rockwilder should be played at my wedding should that ever go down in life because you know what it is. It's just a very powerful tune. I gave it a 6 on 5. Okay? I don't care. What. This is in probably my top 10 favorite songs in history just for how much I love life when I hear this tune. Okay?
Wow.
Not many songs make me love life more to the level that they're since I'm 12. This is since I'm 12 years old, right?
Yeah,
this song makes me feel that great.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all I gotta say about the Rockwilder.
Yeah. I mean, this song is what it is, right? They're giving credit to the producer and the producer is kind of showing off and it's awesome. And that's why it's aptly titled, the Rockwilder. Or am I saying that right? Rockwilder?
I just said the Rockwilder. I don't know if I've ever said it right, to be real with you.
So yeah, I mean, and Method Man and Redman just sound like they're having a lot of fun together and enjoying each other's company, not in a gay sense in any way, but I mean that's cool if that's you. But yeah, anyways, so that's what it is, and they just sound fun, and that's coming off it just sounds like it's just so much fun. This is just for me, I just this is what boys sound like when they're hanging out together. It's just like a fun loving song between guy friends just goofing around, just having a good time and just listening to music and just laughing and getting high and doing what they do. And it's really just more of the same in terms of what they've been talking about. They kind of also talk about killing it at verses and stuff like that, so kind of more on line of what they've talked about. So for me, like, okay, I haven't grown up listening to this song, so I suppose it's a different. I'm not giving it a 6 on 5, but it's definitely like a hype beat, and yeah, it's pretty awesome, especially like the intro. So awesome job to Rockwilder. So I give it a 4.7, and I feel like if I listen to it more, because it is a new experience for me, I feel like that would probably go up to a 5.
I'm just gonna have to say that your grade is wrong on this one. We'll have to agree to disagree, and that's fine. It doesn't make you right. The truth is, though, we can tear it off and move on to the next one. Also, just gotta say, his bars are good on it. It's just, after all that other shit, what else could I really say to give justice to anything? So yeah, tear it off. Now, I don't know. Let's get into it right away.
Okay, let's do it.
So first of all, I like their little back and forth at the beginning, showing off their comrades, their good buds. But just the way he starts it, super enjoyable. Flip modes, toilet bowls explode. So flip mode being where he's from on his side, toilet bowls explode. Mm-hmm. When .com drop a shitload. Get it? Because he's pooping in an excessive way. Mm-hmm. But also, in regards to, I just enjoyed it, okay? I enjoyed it a lot. It's silly fucking fun, but also replicating how fucking dope he is. Grip Force, Mushrooms did those. Fucking fun. He's wilding out. I don't know. I can't explain it better than that. It's super enjoyable. He brings a crazy energy to it again with it. Eric Sermon makes a bouncy motherfucking beat to it. The chorus and the hook on this one comes through with the same level of energy that we've had on all the other hype ones. I feel like we're really into like this. This is a standard of fucking fire and dopeness. At this part of the album, I'm sitting there going, I don't know that I can comment a lot of insightful new shit as we go through the remaining tracks on this. Mm-hmm. But holy shit, do I fucking enjoy it. But also, I really wanted to just give props to the line. Timid, cared to get in it. These dogs is Rockwilder, Unchained, and whatever. So that's starting out to the idea of the Rockwilder, the dog type, whatever. I got confused. The Rottweilers, whatever. Yeah. But it's made me think of that. But also, shouting out to like his fucking homeboy who just did the last beat on the last track, which ties back into that shouting out your album across track shit, showing it's a bigger experience than a singular individual fucking thing. Mm-hmm. And I really enjoy that shit. That shit makes me geek out a little bit when I hear it. So to me, the writing on this album is fucking dope. It really is cool to listen to as far as how you can make a marketably sonic experience. I don't know about the song length conversation in 2020. Everybody says shorter shit, whatever. But I think if you make your shit vibe like this and you just want to keep listening like that, I don't think it matters how long your songs are. It just matters if you can kind of maintain a vibe in the same way that they're able to do on this. I mean, it's dope. I like it. I don't know more to say. I'm going to have to go ahead and give it another fucking 5 on 5 because shit, it's just sounded that good to me.
Yeah, this is another like nice beat. I like this one. I like the barking and like the ad libs that's like happening in the beat. I thought that was fun. I mean, it's another hype song with like a strong, flows and lyrics, and you don't want to fuck with them and like that kind of same old story. But it's good. So I give this one a 4.6 on 5.
I just want to add that there's 2 ways to go about you don't want to fuck with me. And I've seen throughout the hip hop, there's the whack way where you just say it blatantly, and then there's the way that you say it with the style that reflects your personality. And these guys are all about reflecting the style. Like everything Redman says is consistent to being fucking Redman, and everything Method Man says is darker and more consistent to being Method Man. Like you feel it in their vibes and flows. So it almost like, because they're so different in their approach, it gives more people an opportunity to like latch on to something in this, depending on what your stylistic preferences are, adding a whole extra layer to the market appeal to what these guys bring to the table. Okay. It's just fucking dope to me. Anyway, sorry.
No, that's it.
All right, I guess we can move on, and if the rest of the songs go a little faster, it is what it is. But where we at is a little bit of a skit. Let's listen. And I just say that's hilarious because I know a lot of people like that. Like, I straight up know all sorts of marks in my life because, I'm pretty blatant. Everybody knows what the fuck I'm into. But I know a lot of marks like that. I know people who are, like, on the low about it. Like, who listen to a bunch of shit in public for reals. And then, like, straight up are like, yo, Holden, what do you think of this? And it's like a little Skype DM, like, yo, check out this hip hop tune. Do I get your stamp of approval? You like the hip hops? Maybe I am in tune with the hip hops a little bit. I just fucking loved it, man. But the truth is, I think it's also a little bit of a self-awareness if they're going, yo, a lot of white people are bumping our shit. Because I can tell you a lot of white people I know bump their shit. And I think that's fucking hilarious. The self-awareness that comes into this tune while also being so self-aware about the kind of fan that they probably have also, and then doing a fun interlude that I bet a bunch of high people, it just went way the fuck over their head. I loved this one a lot. I thought it was one of the best motherfucking interludes on this that I've heard, really, because of what they pulled off with it. And I think it just goes to show they're fucking smart, and they knew exactly, like it just makes me feel like they made this album knowing who would buy it and knowing how it would perform. Like, they knew who their audience was, and they just played right into it, is what I'm left with to think of at this point. I don't know, 5 on 5. It is an amazing motherfucking skit. And, yo, the production is excellent. Are you not vibing? Is it not hilarious and enjoyable?
Yeah. Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? It's, you know, even white people like this album, basically. And, like, see? Like, I don't know what that proves, but okay.
Everything I just said.
Yeah, exactly. And, I don't know. It's funny, and it's, like, the same sort of, like, intro. I think it's the same white guy or whatever. Like that was talking, like, during the first song, like, the very first song. And then they talk about, you know, side 2. So I guess, like, maybe this came out on cassettes, even though it was 1999, and I would think that it would come out on a CD, but or I don't know, whatever.
Well, cassettes were still being sold back then, so even if CDs were like out, you still would have produced it as a cassette. Like, I've seen cassettes for everything that came out in that era.
Okay. Yeah. So, anyways, it's cool. I gave it a 4.4 on 5.
Fair enough. I guess we can move on then to
1 2 1 2.
That's right. 1 2 1 2. So, yo, honestly, another thing I feel like is this track, and this is the best compliment I can give this album, because it's kind of like we're at the point where, yo, I don't even know how to comment on it. It's hype. It's fucking dope to listen to. Yep. As Lady Bro said, it's basically two dudes busting the best rhymes they got at the whole thing. But this track in particular, I had to listen to a lot of times in a row. It wasn't like I got it right away. I couldn't find a groove at first. That beat kind of was like, But then here's something that is worth noting sometimes. And I think so often in the history of music, people listen to some shit like once, and then they don't really come back to it and ever give it like a second listen. And that second listen and that third listen, you become more familiar. Because listen one, your brain is processing sounds, right? You're not even really hearing shit yet. There's no way. There's no, like, okay, there are audiophiles and shit who are particularly amazing at one listen remembering. That's not fucking people. That's the rares. That's not the commons. So usually it's by like listen 2 or 3 that your brain is even able to properly assess whether or not you like it. I could tell you that on listen 3, I was still kind of iffy on this one. But I listened 6 because I kept not paying attention, and I just kept fucking getting distracted, and I gotta pay attention. Now all of a sudden I'm vibing and I'm loving this track, and I'm at the 4.5 range. It's not quite the 5 range because I had to struggle to get there. Okay. It wasn't instant delight, but I found myself really tapping into the groove of this one and really just feeling it. It is produced by DJ Scratch, and maybe having a different producer so like changed the vibe a little bit. But once I found my enjoyability in the vibe, I was like, yo, it's just right up back into like the whatever. But then can we just touch on how Method Man saying shit like, yo, where them criminals better have your 8 essential vitamins and minerals? Whether or not that's meant to be quite literal, it's still going to tell people to get your health on, whether or not it's meant to be that or not, right? I don't know if there's some bigger thing to it.
Well, I also like, I mean, I guess, I don't know if you think about it, he's talking to the criminals, so I imagine the people in jail, and the people in jail are probably not getting their vitamins and minerals. Like, they're probably eating, like, shitty, low-quality food that doesn't have a lot of vitamins, but it just fills you up. And everything else you have to pay for from, like, the, whatever, like
commissary.
Yeah, whatever it's called, the shop or whatever it is. I think it's called different things in different jails or prisons, but yeah, I mean, so maybe that's it. Like, they're just not getting their vitamins.
Irregardless, the fact that he said it is gonna make motherfuckers go, yo, what are those? Is that like something I should, like there's a little bit of sneakiness in. And so when I'm thinking about how a lot of modern people are fucking dealing with complex issues, it is more a bunch of vapid, airy fucking bars, and then you tuck in a 1-2 line about fucking real shit so that while they're listening, you can teach them a little thing here and there. And I'm saying, like, how much of this album is predicting the fucking future of hip-hop as opposed to not? I don't know. Maybe I'm just going too deep into it because the last month of my life has been a bit of a mind fuck on the way albums are getting made and the transitionary phases that are happening as the third wave of industrialization takes over the world and attention spans of people. But, like, I like this shit. It's so airy. It's so fun. It's fun. And I feel like that's what makes it stand out now is that, like, I want to listen to fun music in a way where I don't want to listen to heavy, deep thinking music, and that's a part of changing myself. But with that, I think it's cool. I don't know. Like, you could, like, what is it about this album that makes it timeless? The bars are cool. Like, they're airy. There's nothing negative going on here. Even if it's dated, they know that you're gonna tap into that nostalgia because it's just fun shits. Rats can only afford Chuck E. Cheese. Come on, Chuck E. Cheese is a positive fucking image. It's not negative imagery. This is a really, like, smart album in a way that is a little more commercial than, say, not. I don't know. I really like that side of it. Okay. And I think it's cool that the marketing geek in me gets to enjoy these little moments, too. It's just fun. I don't know. It's just fun. I'm just where it is with it. I don't have anything more to say about this at this point.
Okay. This is the first one that definitely kind of sounds like 1999. Like, it just kind of like has that particular style or whatever it was they were all doing. And like, Red even says a line about like Y2K, so he's kind of like touching on like, the coming future. And I like the scratching in it, thanks to DJ Scratch. So appropriately named. I don't know. It just, it has good energy, but, more about the same sort of thing. And, they spit fun bars and ends with like a thunderstorm and like a radio station DJ. So it's kind of what's going on there. So I give this one a 4.25.
Cool. Let us move on then on our pursuit and journey through this album as we discuss the Maaad Crew. All right, Bonnie, what do you think about this tune?
So this one is kind of like funky and like kind of bouncy, and it makes me like feel like I'm like walking down the street with like big baggy jeans and like really deep pockets and like with my hat backwards and just kind of like strolling and being super cool, and like I don't know why I have to do that a whole bunch, but like I just feel like laid back and I don't know, just kind of like doing that, and I don't know, it's just kind of like chill in that sense. And I don't know, he says like some funky lines like, can get you pregnant with their fingers. They talk about that a lot. Like, well, not a lot. They've mentioned that a few times, like finger fucking, I guess. And like, they're like a mad crew and they have everyone that they need in their group, and they, they're like, this cool group or whatever. And there was like one line that was like highlighted on Genius. Clinton is the prez. I still voted for Shirley Chisholm. So I found out that she was the first like African American woman in Congress and the first Black presidential candidate. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like, I'm learning things here. So I thought that was, cool. Good to know. And I think this one is sort of also about supporting your fellow brothers and sisters, and and like that will help make like them like more of like a madder crew, just by like helping and like raising people up and like doing good for others and like supporting your own people and just kind of like doing that kind of thing. And and like supporting like the people that you want to see like representing you, like kind of that like side of things as well. And I don't know, it's kind of like a cool thing to think about, and it just kind of ends with like this kind of nice concert clip, essentially. So I give this a 4.3 on 5. It was pretty good.
Fair enough. I enjoyed the back and forth. I think that's a big highlight to the beginning of this track, right? Because you got the two of them on it, and we haven't seen like a whole verse feel. Like we get that, we push weights with Ice Cubes in a cup, America's Most Wanted, which is so cool, right? Because Ice Cubes in a cup and then America's Most Wanted, giving fucking shout outs to such an amazing album and such an amazing influence.
Yeah.
Police Pin It Up. But if we think about pushing weight, the police are going to come at you because we take that in a whole different context. So I might be running a contest about a song called Lose Weight, and if you choose to take that kind of weight is your meaning, I'm totally okay with that. I digress. I just like the back and forth. I think it's fucking dope. I really just think that not a million billion rappers can pull off the kind of back and forth they do so seamlessly. And they do it in such a way where it just makes it super engaging. It makes you just want to keep listening to it. I really like that about it. Otherwise, I don't have the whole much more to add to it. It's just fucking dope. They just kind of hard. They're just kind of excited. They just kind of bounce off each other really well, bring that energy, keep the vibe going, and all the different things we've said. So instead of boring y'all, because honestly, I don't want to be that guy, and I know that if you're watching this deep, you've been watching the whole fucking review type thing. So we're just gonna kind of, I guess, speed it up a bit. I give it another 4.5. I think the outro was pretty fucking funny. Right, like the other thing about this track is that I started writing. I heard the beat, I heard the vibe, and it was one of those tunes that just made me pick up my fucking thing, and I wrote like a good 8 bars just listening to it, and it slowed me down in my review process, and I just kept listening to it. So again, like 5-6 times in a row, it just is engrossing. They understand hooks. I think that's the big takeaway from this review, is that hooks are important, and that hooks transcend just the fucking rappers and the idea of just being a chorus. Sometimes we interchange the idea of choruses and hooks, but a hook is anything in your song that makes you want to come back and listen to it. And that's what makes these guys amazing, is they are brilliant with hooks. On that note, 4.5, like I said, let us keep it going. I know. We're going to listen to the other posse cut now, the one that RZA produced. It's called Run for Cover. I mean, it kind of is what it is at this point. We get, honestly, another brilliant posse cut. It's enjoyable. Yep. I think it's cool that Streetlife is there. Streetlife is Method Man's dude to this day. Right? Okay. Method Man drops an album, you're going to see the man's name all over that project. So I think it shows a lot of love and respect to Method Man that he does that. That's Ghostface cool. Killah, I mean, come on, it's obviously. Ghostface Killah. Yep. He just sounds delightful. I like the fact that RZA does the production. I like the fact that this album has the elements of both of their squads that came on through, and it just gives everybody a chance to come through and make it happen. What do you think of this one?
Yeah, so, Streetlife starts us off, and, he does his thing, and, like, this one is, like, a little bit, like, creepier and kind of more, like, battle sounding. Like, it's just kind of more, I don't know, like, it has more of, like, a, creepy vibe, I guess. I liked Redman's rhyme scheme on his verse. They all kind of have, like, one verse, basically, and it's cool, and just sort of, like, another tough, badass group song, basically. So I don't know, it was fine. I gave it a 4 on 5.
So I really enjoyed it, like I said, but I do need to point out this one fucking bar that we need to stop and talk about.
Which one?
A young Method Man. Yo, this ain't your granddaddy music. It's hip-hop. That bar did not age well, guys, because when I listen to this hip-hop, I go, this is my granddaddy's music. Like, straight up, this is granddaddy music. That golden era hip-hop, these guys in their 50s and shit are now young granddads. A lot of we're talking like normal askest, most whatever life trajectory you fucking ended up on. Like, if we have a kid, my parents are in their 50s.
Yeah. So
that is just granddad music now. That's what's cool about that line. It made him so, like, fucking, I even posted, like, said Method Man now in grandfather age. And so it's fucking funny to me.
True.
But I also love the idea because it ties into a bigger conversation about the direction of hip-hop. This music is accessible, dope, and fun. But honestly, would it hit the same way in 2020 when it came out? No, of course not. This album would not. That's why Method Man's Meth Lab Station 2 didn't sound anything fucking like this, because it wouldn't hit the same way. The truth is, hip-hop is for the youth. And if the youth decided that hip-hop is going to go melodic, what the fuck are us old men going to do, you know? This ain't your granddaddy's music. It's hip-hop. It's a youthful, passionate thing. And I think Matt tapped into that proper with that line. It's one of my favorite fucking bars. I think Ghost comes through. He's fucking proper. Don't get me wrong. I think Streetlife sounds great next to them. I think Redman sounds cool. But the truth is, I can't say anything close to that level of interesting about all their bars. They're just more enjoyable to listen to. Same kind of deal. Okay. I like this tune a whole bunch. Instead of wasting your time, I'm giving it another straight up 4.5 on 5. It is what it is. Do you have more to comment on this one?
Nope.
Let's move on to the question. Is the rights in whatever particular sample that didn't get cleared for the digital era over label politics? Because keep in mind, it could be that at some point or another, the people involved in the camps, like that, you know, Missy Elliott's camp, Jarrell's camp, everybody's camp, or I think it's Jarrell. I don't know who it was. I don't remember who it is. Sorry about that. With other different camps involved in making the song were friends when the song came out, and then all this time later, they're not even friends later on. You know, like. So like that's the kind of shit that can happen in a situation like this. Ownership changes, right? Just take a look at what's going on with Kanye West, right? Where Jay-Z sold the masters to Universal. Ownership changes hands. Whoever owns the masters controls who has the flow of the music, that's recordings. True. That's not the same thing as the copyright of the songwriting. The songwriting being who, like, so Method Man and Redman can forever go and perform this song, and they can even re-record this song. But the owner, let's say, whoever owns the masters of this particular recording would be different. So they sampled somebody's particular recording. And that's the thing that's owned that has the whole question of whether or not. Anyway, it gets kind of complicated like that. But I think it's super fascinating stills because the song's really dope. But at the same time, I felt it was a little bit less dope. It is, like, it's good, but, like, maybe it's because I had to go through this whole effort of going onto YouTube and it pulled me out of the album experience. And maybe a little bit part of it. But I definitely think the sound of the track is a little just kind of felt a little weaker compared to some of the other ones. However, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just I didn't kind of feel it as much. I don't know how else to describe it. I still think it's enjoyable, like in terms of fitting onto this album. The references are cool. Everything about it's fine. It's just not my favorite one compared to other ones, so I'm giving it a 4.35 instead of the other ones. It's good though. Okay. That's all I gotta say about it. We can move on then to the following track.
That's that.
Shit. But everybody, take a look at this. Woo! Look at the size of that thing. Put that over here, and I think it's an appropriate centerpiece for the rest of our stream. That is what it is.
Let's look at this literal monster.
We got this monster over here.
Oh boy.
Anyway, I'm just kind of happy. It's kind of bold. I think it's a strong. Bold. It's a strong little monster over there. Anyway, so yeah, how do you feel about this song?
Yeah, there's nice wordplay. There's like some like kind of cute references in it. The chorus is nice. Allah sees everything. It's kind of talking about that, and that if you mess with one, then you're gonna mess with both of them or all of them. About weed and ladies like fighting over them, and like there's like some nice scratching in it. But overall, that's pretty much it. It's fine. It's another 4 on 5 from me. And this one has featuring Mally G. He's alright.
I was like, yo, there's Jamal, Mally G, whatever. It says Jamal there. There's also Young Z. So we have like some features on this. We have some guests that are here. And you hear them and they sound good on this one. What am I going to say? It's fucking proper. And everything about this album sounds pretty decent. But really what makes this one fly so well is the chorus, right? It's the how high kind of vibes to it. Get you stoned and get you high, that whole vibe to it, the way that it bounces like that, it just feels fucking cool. It feels like you're going to get fucked up listening to them. You're going to have a great time listening to them. Mm-hmm. It maintains that kind of energy over it. I'll be real, Jamal's not, or Mally G, he's not my favorite part of the track, but he also doesn't sound like bad next to it. It just sounds like another dude came through, delivered the bars he had to. We're in the same vein of everybody dropping rhymes. The production's still stellar. What else can I really say about it? That's that shit. I give it a 4.5. Again, I know this might be shorter than some of the other song breakdowns, but there isn't a lot I can add to this at this point. So don't want to waste y'all time. Why don't we move on to Cheka?
right.
All right, so how do you feel about this tune?
I mean, really, it's like another fun sounding song. It has like a really nice vibe to it. Like, it's not really necessarily one that you need to like sit down and listen to like everything, but just like enjoying like the vibe that it kind of gives you. You know, and it's in really like you're not gonna miss much if you do, because I mean it's really just the same thing. It's about ladies and weed, and you know that they are microphone checkers, and you know, and they're, you know, repping Staten Island, and that's pretty much it.
Well,
So in my opinion, anyways, so I gave it a 4.2 on 5.
off the jump, I think it has like this throwback feel to like this hip hop sound, like riggedy wow, stepping out, you know, like just like that. Just like we're going old school on this, we're going fun with this, we bringing it back a little bit, you know.
True.
But then immediately, flickety flame, twin chromes, full, you know, like instantly flipping it into some harder shit. You know, let y'all know not to fuck with them. Still, they're still on that vibe, that tough guy image. Yo, one thing I noticed about Redman is I felt like his balls are massive after listening to this. Like he has giant ball energy, like. Not big dick energy, massive dick energy.
There you go.
Like a serious level. They just say fucking anything, he's ready to go. He doesn't even mind. And I enjoy it. And I enjoy the way he spits it like that. The chorus just feels so old school, like microphone check, microphone Cheka. Like it just feels like a callback. And then to go again, make it a little harder. Fuck with me and Matt, then we break your fucking neck. You know what I mean? Like it just adds that little edge to it that makes it fucking fun to listen to. Because keep in mind, young stoners is who's vibing to this, probably, in my opinion, from what I've seen in my life. Y'all can be different demographics for sure. Still, moving along, Method Man's just proper. He sounds great. Don't have a lot to add to it. It's just overall a good song. Really enjoyable. The beat is so fucking positive. It's so upbeat. It's so strong to listen to. Also, produced by Redman and Govmatic. So seeing Redman involved in production is fucking dope. But I just think at the end of the day, this was like a bit of levity to the project to lift us up, because, you know, there are some heavier tunes here. But it just kind of, you know, you're deep into your high now, and it's just kind of like, yo, all right, ready to keep the vibe going, you know, and that kind of lifts you up, getting ready to go into the rest of the last stretch of this project, because it is a bit of a long album, but it's a bit of a long album in an era where there was a lot less music coming out, so it's okay to be that kind of length of album.
Fair enough. Yeah.
I digress. Let's move on to Fire in a Hole. How do you feel about Fire in a Hole, Bonnie?
Well, I mean, the hook or the chorus, whichever one it is, it's nice and catchy, and you know, it's really same sort of thing. I'm gonna make the next few pretty quick. Weed and ladies, folks, is what you're gonna get. You know, and they get life sentences with no parole. He's kind of talking about that, and it's catchy enough, and it's, you know, on par with like the rest of the vibe of the album. So 4.35 from me.
I feel like it's more intense. It's got like that beat right there is where it comes in.
Fire in the hole.
It's produced by Mathematics. It's fucking fire.
Yep.
That dun, 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 dun,
Like it sounds like a very guy song. Like it sounds like army
like,
guys like kind of hanging out together.
It totally has that tone, but it's still that bass line. Dun, 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 dun. Like it just loops. And when you really listen to it, it glues the song together in a way where it gets more sticky than some of the other ones, and I really like that. And then I feel like he comes in hard, like with all due respect to the game on a PH or whatever. Not ready for I can't do it, I'm sorry. But he comes in and he fucking hits it, the beyond extension, change your way of thinking, or be gone. You know, like it just fucking flows. He's just arrogant in a way that's just fun to listen to, and I really, really like it. And then I don't know, the chorus is cool. Fire in a hole, fire in a hole. Like it's just got like an energy to it. It just kind of feels proper. It feels like a little more militant, a little more tough guy in terms of the approach, as it maybe not as fun. But let's be real, we've had a lot of fun. They do need a couple of more hard for the dudes, blah, blah, blah kind of tracks, and they're totally hitting it on this one. And that's the thing, is they're totally hitting it on this one. Like, I give this track a 5. I thought it was fucking brilliant. I think it's just enjoyable. I like the cool, calm, collected Method Man. I like the dynamic, alive Redman. I think everything they do is fucking dope in this one. I don't, again, want to go too far into the bars and stuff, because there's not more I can comment than what has been said in this review already, except that the vibe is proper. And, yo, it kind of is like the opposite of Cheka in a way. Cheka gives you, like, the complete happy vibes, and this gives you the complete intensity kind of vibes. So I really like the back-to-back on those two tracks, and it really is cool. It really is like, yo, we're not just fun. We got some serious shit with it.
True.
I liked it a lot. Like you said, let's not waste any more time. So the next one on this project is All Rite Cha.
All right.
How do you feel about this one?
More of the same thing. Weed and ladies and guys just having fun. I'm a little bit bored at this point in the album, so it's not a bad song. It's just like bleh, it's like the same thing. So 4 on 5 from me.
So what's interesting about this one, and I got a little question, I guess, because of the way that these track ends, right? So we're almost at the end of it, right?
Yeah.
So at this point, and I didn't really look that deep into it, but this track, All Rite Cha, it's actually off a Redman album.
Oh, okay.
The one after that's actually off a Method Man album. So it's kind of a way to tie them into their other projects. And then the final one's the How High remix, right? So was Fire in a Hole the end of the actual album? I didn't actually check it. I don't know. Maybe it's worth looking into real quick. But all I'm trying to say is that was interesting, right? Because what I just caught, and I'm glad I caught it, because on Genius, everything changes on this track. All of a sudden, we're on the Redman album, Docs the Name 2000, which came out a little bit earlier in the 98 year, as opposed to the same. Anyway, so that's a fascinating point of view. You're kind of right. I'm not really left with a huge sense of like more I can add on the review perspective. I enjoyed listening to it, but I do think the marketing strategy is super fascinating, right? Because even with like the modern day like era of releasing music, think about the tie-in capabilities, right? So let's say me and my boy Chris Chrome proceed to make a project together, right? And he puts me on his shit, I put him on my shit. Then we put together a group album, and say we just want to get a couple more tunes at the end, whatever, in order to kind of build up some buzz, even in the modern streaming era. Imagine we take 2 tracks that we have with a high level of numbers, and we stick them on this album. Off the jump, the album releases with 2 tracks that got some fucking buzz already going, right? So it kind of gives you an incentive to even buy this just because you know those songs are on it. Right. I'm telling you, there's so much fucking top tier marketing things that were dropped on this project that elevate the overall, I guess, experience to me, that make it really fucking interesting and cool. Because like, who does that? I don't like. I'm not saying it hasn't been done. It's been done later for sure, and I'm not saying this is the first time in history it's been done like this. But how fucking smart is that? It's kind of like when that Twista and Kanye West song came out on this. They're both their albums at the same time, the fucking slow jams or whatever, right? So it kind of made you feel like inclined to want to buy both those projects in order to get access to that tune. So all I'm saying is, it's such a brilliant fucking marketing move, and I really enjoy it. I really, really do. I also like the line, Doc been keeping a dope show like Marilyn Manson, because it also shows the level of cultural references that they tap into transcend the immediate scope of their world. It's another smash in my opinion. I'm giving it a 4.5 on 5. A very enjoyable tune, and it makes me want to go and review more Redman albums. That's what I'm trying to say. How do you feel though? Did I ask you already?
Yeah.
I might have. I'm a little... Yeah. I'm a little out of it. Anyway, so are we ready to move on, I guess, to the next track?
Big Dogs.
This is right, the Big Dogs. So this is off of, like, in the same vein of things, it's off of the fucking Method Man to Cal 2000 Judgment Day project is when it first released, and then its second releases on this Blackout experience, which is, again, really cool and really smart. And I'm not even gonna lie, should I go down that path of like group project line like that, it is a fucking smart thing to tap into, especially with the way algorithms work. Anyway, fascinating that they're just, this album feels so fucking innovative is I guess where I'm coming from it. How do you feel about this track though?
Same for everything. I don't know. I don't have anything more. I feel like I like shut down at this point, like listening to the album. I was like, this is the same thing for every song now. Weed and Ladies, 4 on 5.
I took it a little more serious. I'm not gonna lie to you. I listened to it, but I had a lot of trouble getting into this one, and it's a little heavy on like the nursery feel, like diggity down, we reservoir dogs, you puppy chow chow, got my mittens and the kitten licking it now. I mean, I don't know. Compared to the rest of this album, I just don't want to hear him say that compared to like a lot of the rest of the album. I like the back and forth. I like the idea of what they're doing here in terms of the overall funness with it. So, yo, Spade says he's not a bull guy, he's a twister. But at the end of the day, it's like, if the album's already on at this point, why the fuck am I going to stop it? The next track is really dope. This isn't a skippable, but this is the first track I would say, like, it felt like it maybe, if it wasn't here, the album would have been a teensy little bit stronger as far as my final grade went, because it pulled it. It's a 4.25. Compared to the average track, it's a great song, but like compared to everything else on this album, it just feels a little weaker. It's not that it's bad, it just feels a little bit weaker. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Maybe it's because it came earlier. They were still getting their vibe together or whatever. I don't have all the answers on that. But I gave it a 4.25, and I'm glad they tucked it so fucking deep into the album, because by then you are invested and you're like, fuck it. Plus, we all know how good the next track is, so it's kind of like a good placement for it. That's all I'm saying. How do you feel? Well, you said what you said. I don't want to talk about it. Let's move on. I want to get the stream over with. Because the truth is,
it wasn't the stream. It was this album.
Well, How High remix is the last track on this one. Let's do it, everyone. One more to go, and we have gotten through this project together as a squad. This song is so weird on this album. Like, it's totally like, it feels bonus tracky. Because it's very hard, and the way the beat is spacey and airy, and it comes together. Like, don't get me wrong. As a song, it's fucking brilliant. It is an exceptional piece of artwork.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Because it's harder, right? It's not so airy and fun and fluffy, but it's almost like, you look at it like just the airy nature of the excuse me as I kiss the sky. Like, there's an airiness with it. Like, I'm high, but he's still fucking hard with it. And it has like a grimier tone to it. And I think that's what makes it kind of special and cool. Because, I don't know, you look at the idea of the How High. You listen to the chorus, and it's kind of like airy and it's fucking fun or whatever. But you listen to the bars, and it's fucking hard. Like, as I run a mile with a racist, my style was born in the pissy staircases. Dig it, F a rap critic. He talk about it while I live it. You know, so like, there's some serious shit that actually is being said on this one that doesn't come through. Like, think about what he just said there. Fuck your, and in some cases possibly your literal opinion, because you don't understand his fucking culture. I mean, I'm vibing, so why the fuck is he gonna hate what I have to say? You're like, blah, 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 move on. And he's gonna be like, fuck a critic, right? I was born in the fucking pissy staircases. This is the grittiness, the griminess. This is what it is. Unless you come from that, you don't know what it is. Right? And the way that they fucking rhyming, it'd be the ultimate rush to any on dust. The Egyptian musk used to have me pull mad sluts. I shift like a clutch with a ruck, examine my nuts. I don't stop till I get enough. You know, like, there's like an air of style and elegance to the way that Redman spits this shit. It's fucking good bars. 6 million ways to die, so I made it a 6 million with one, your eyes closed. You know, like the way he just kind of taps into the pop culture and flips it into an aggressive line and stuff. This shit is appealing. It's got an air to it. And then at the same time, you mix that with like the airiness of that chorus and look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, it's the funk dog smoking on the train. How high? So high that I can. So it's like they're so fucking blitz, but this is the manifestation. I think that juxtaposition is ridiculous. I think it's fucking super fun. Not like fun like the rest of this album is fun, but like fun and like this song by itself is a really amazing experience. This song is track 19 on this project. Maybe he doesn't do this song the service it does by playing this song by itself in another experience, and that's just how I feel about it. You don't have to agree with me. It is what it is.
Right.
But I like it a lot. I think it's a 4.5 on 5. I think it's honestly really worth listening to. The music video is goofy as fuck, but it is one that kind of cuts it up with some story plots.
Right.
Anyway, we did it, folks.
We did it.
We got to the end of the album. I guess I could give my little album review grade.
Yep.
This shit's a classic motherfucking album. It's 4.66 on 5. A brilliant compositional experience beginning to end. Excellent production, tapping into that classic era, but creating grooves and vibes that are motherfucking... Yo, as Spade said, the hook on the last track, so dreamy. And that's part of what it is. The vibes. You get lost in it. You feel it. And then, when you stop to listen... This album gives you nuggets the whole way through. Now, again, if you're not into punchlines, you're not into the witties, you might not be able to latch on to this project and appreciate it. But if you step away from that and just listen to the way their voices ride the beats and the way they rhyme shit and the way they use themselves as an instrument to complement the overall sonic experience, It's a fucking wonderful thing to listen to, in my little opinion. And I recommend consuming marijuana for it. It's fucking, it is what it is. I digress. Yeah. That's it. That's all I got to say about that. Watch the whole rest of the thing if you want to know more.
Yeah, I give this a 4.27 on 5, so an 85%. And I can totally see why this is like a classic. It definitely has like a cool flow to it and everything. But I just feel like if they had cut like this song, like the number of songs in like half, like I feel like it would have still got the same message out. But I get what they're trying to do. But for me, like, it just kind of felt like it was too much of the same. Like, there was really, like, it's very consistent. Like, if you want that kind of an album and you want this to be sort of like your background, like, not necessarily, like, listening and hanging on to every single word, but just kind of, like, vibing to it, like, it's perfect for that. And, like, I think that's what it's made for. So, I mean, it did its job. So, good job. But, like, it's not one that I would necessarily throw on. You know what I mean?
That's why I'm here, to let y'all know it's a masterpiece. Thank y'all for watching. Your opinion is honestly valid. I'm just having fun with you. Special thanks to everybody who watched it. I appreciate y'all. Feel free to leave comments letting us know what you thought about anything. Definitely like the video if you did on the YouTubes and follows and subscribes and all that shit, depending on your platform. I don't know. We on all the things now. Special thanks to the patrons: Ismail Gadamsi, Chris Prado, Jonathan Barnes, DJ Black Hurricane, Linda Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. Support what we do. If you're down to support the cause, patreon.com/behindthatsuit. It is what it is. Anyway, I make music myself. You can feel free to check that out. Links in the description. On that note, we do appreciate all of y'all. It's been a rush. Live long and prosper, everyone.
Peace, guys.